from having to drive.
Take us to the first one.
First slide, the LMIG. LMIG 2021 is complete. We're working on LMIG 2022.
So the budget went up $1,000,001, is that right, Dave? And Tamara said that $1,000,001 came from the federal funding, is that correct?
Well, it was 10 million originally. And, I don't know, I still have 10 million. Total
Your
expenditure is
sheets-
9 million and, on
Your
my
sheets
spreadsheet,
say 15,000,009, original budget,
15
revised
million.
budget 17,000,000.
May I ask a question? Is there any way to kind of enhance that a little bit, focus it a little bit? You know what I'm saying, so that it's clear?
It's a little fuzzy right now.
Yeah. And if not, you
If
know,
they close the blinds, it might help too.
Might help. That
Yeah.
helps all.
yeah,
Yeah.
a little bit, yes.
There should be a focus on that. Is there a focus?
Is that okay, Mr. Chairman?
It looks like it's in focus, it's just, it's kind of sideways a little bit, you know, we're at an angle. Yeah.
All right, Ms. Jane, I'm working off the 10 million that we received at the beginning, and I got 900,000 left off of the
Right. Oh, I
Splost.
see where you are.
And I've got about, we're probably gonna put, it's probably gonna be 2 million, around 2 million for the LMIG 2022 list. And of course, we've been spreading that out over the years. We could have burned it all up at the first year, but we didn't. We spread it out to
I'm looking at
use
the
it as the
total.
match.
I'm looking at the total infrastructure. You
Okay.
see that, 15,000,009?
I see. I see
Increased
that.
to 17.
Yep.
And that's all federal money, that difference?
That's all fair. We got some additional money, when we pave, I don't know, we may have received some additional money somewhere.
So all of the increase between the 15 million and the 17 million revised is all LMIG money that was put into
Okay.
the major roads. We had we had 300,000 of capital projects money that was put in, but we ended up not needing that for a different project, so it was transferred back to capital projects. So the entire increase is LMIG funds from the state.
Oh, please.
Any questions?
Tomorrow's, I think that's an incoming phone call.
Next slide.
Go ahead.
Questions on that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you can only do one, you can only do one thing at a time.
Okay, I'm putting you back on speaker.
She must have dropped off.
Maybe we just go sit over there.
Now Road, Spur 25 to Blinko, we have finalized the two remaining parcels. As soon as we do that, those plans are ready to be put out to
When you say you finalized, you negotiated the right-of-ways with them?
We negotiated, got an agreement on the price, and the board authorized us to pay that cost.
So now it's just design and build?
Well, it's designed, we just are holding the closing on these two pieces, and then we're gonna let it hit the street.
Good.
Dungeness, you know, we had some issues with right-of-way and getting the original concept for that. Paul talked to DOT, and they actually wanted to design an improvement themselves that is all in DOT right-of-way. And, we sent that to the Board of Commissioners for consideration and haven't heard any negative back, so we think we're gonna go with this, and that estimated cost is $300,000, and all in DOT right-of-way. So we anticipate starting that next year because DOT is designing that themselves, not designing that themselves, Paul.
So that's coming in 100,000 under what you budgeted then?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, that's a good surprise.
It's a nice surprise.
That's budgetary cost estimate from GDOT as to what they think their concept is gonna be. We haven't, that's gonna be on to us. Once we say move forward with the concept, we design it to GDOT specs.
Okay.
They put the concept together for us.
Pennick Road's under construction. They are, have just about taken, all the trees out of the right-of-way that they need to. They're in the process of burning the trees. They're hauling fill and, building up the road. I think we're looking at, culverts going in January and the drainage, the box culvert. No, the cross drain starting in mid-November, hopefully, and the box culverts will go in mid-January.
Can you tell us why that went from 2.7 million to 5.4 million
No,
for doing half as much?
there was never an estimate for Pennick Road.
It was budgeted at 2.7.
It was budgeted for dirt road paving under the Splost. Dirt road paving for a certain amount of roads. There was never an estimate for how much it would cost. It was merely said, we want to pave some dirt roads, and here's $3 million.
Lump sum to be divided amongst?
Right. There was never a staff estimate done.
Why not?
I don't know, you'd have to ask the 7 people that voted on it.
2.7 is the budget, and the new budget's 5.4. My other question at the last meeting,
Is not the budget for Pennick Road. It is the money in the Splost for dirt road paving.
okay. Can you tell us about the mitigation and why we were paying mitigation rights on DNR land?
We had to pay for mitigation credits.
On DNR land. So we've got the Glynn County, so my question is,
Well, we have to pay for the mitigation credits, but we actually got the land and the right-of-way free.
okay. I'm still surprised that the DNR would have to mitigate on its own land.
Well, I don't think it's a DNR, I mean, the mitigation credits go to the Corps of Engineers, not to the DNR. So it's not a state thing, it's a federal thing. DNR also has to mitigate when they do projects.
Do they? And they have to give it to the feds.
Yes, ma'am. Depending on the project. I mean, there's a relationship with wetlands but if they're like, if they go out and say, we want a new DNR building and it impacts wetlands, they're home to do
It's a
that.
federal, it's the waters of the US.
Yeah.
Okay.
Austin, I think we're ready for the next slide. Thank you.
Spur 25, that's gone to October Finance. It'll be voted on by the commission at the board tomorrow night, for the additional cost adjustment.
Can you hold on one second?
Absolutely.
Thank you. There it is.
questions? No questions?
My questions go back to the page before.
How long is that gonna take?
We think 6 months. Yeah, so we hopefully, we would hopefully like to start in January after the holidays. Okay, which around here they say is after Christmas. Okay, so, we hope to start in January and then, and work it for the next 4 to 6 months. Most of it is, you know, just alignment stuff. It's not, there's not a whole lot of drainage in it.
Okay.
Did you have something on the previous page, Ms. Jane? You had a question for something?
Yeah, I'm just trying to follow things according to your spreadsheet. Yeah, my question on the previous page, were the intersection improvements going up $1.4 million.
What did you, which one are you
The
talking about?
entire intersection improvements.
Well, they were, we had,
point.
we had some roundabouts that came in under, and we had some roundabouts that came in over. So the roundabout at East Beach and Ocean,
Was
East
over $1
Beach
million.
and Ocean came in under budget. When I say under budget, under the estimate that was done 5 years ago, okay? The roundabout at Kingsway and Frederica, the commissioners decided to spend extra money to do the work at night.
Okay.
So-
And College Park. Did we jump over College Park?
We haven't gotten there, I'm sorry, the presentation.
The presentation does not follow the spreadsheet.
Correct.
Okay. All right.
Were we ready for the next slide?
That makes it very confusing.
That was not, well, different people did different, and we're trying to adjust from Matthew helping be y'all's liaison to us, so I appreciate your patience.
No, poor.
Harry Driggers, this portion is under construction.
I had somebody ask me today, there's 3 different kind of pipes out there. What are the 3 pipes for?
Three different kind of pipe, 'cause there's water pipe, there's PVC force main, and there's HDPE force main out there. The
Okay.
sections that are being open cut that they've installed to date are PVC. The sections that are gonna be drilled are gonna be HDPE force main, and then there's blue water pipe that's coming out now. So
Okay.
there's 3 different kind of pipe that we're installing all of them.
Oh, wow.
That's not this project.
Not this project.
It was just on Harry Driggers, what
Yes,
somebody
it's
asked
right
me
down
today.
Yes,
there,
sir,
it's
it
in the
is.
same area, but it's not the same project.
And you're waiting for connections, right? I mean, you're having supply chain woes where they don't have the connections to fit all the pipes together to get the project started.
Oh, that's with the 12-foot and the, yeah, we talked about it at the last meeting, and they still haven't come in.
We've got them in now, they're started, we'll get to ours in a minute, but yes, they're going in the ground.
Okay.
All right, Austin, we're ready. Okay, this is the, other portion of Sidewalk. I was hoping my naturally projecting voice. This is the second portion of Sidewalk. This, contract, the board has authorized it. We've been getting together final paperwork, and we hope to award the bid and give notice to proceed before Thanksgiving and for the construction to start in January.
Frederica Road sidewalk, that's underway. They have, I think they're down to Palm, they just crossed Palm.
College Park, this one, we actually wind up, rather than funding additional Splost projects on this, we've been working with the DCA to include this under some disaster recovery funds. We had to update the cost and the bid packet or the engineering information for all 4 phases. This grant, it's a non-competitive grant, so we have an allocation, but we still have to submit a grant. The grant is due November 12th, and as soon as we get notice from that, then we'll move forward with these projects, with these phases.
We had a meeting, I think last week, and the state suggested that we use any excess funds past the, Exchange Club and all the way down to the marsh there. And that's gonna be the big chunk of it,
And that's,
of this project. That's all in Georgia DOT right of way, and they've been very positive working with us to get that.
and how is it treated before it hits the marsh, or is it,
It's all gonna be,
it's a vegetated ditch?
yes, ma'am. And nice flat sloped. By necessity, it's gonna be flat, so it should be.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
This is the agreement with the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center to design and do work on their property. We have, they're still under review on the MOU to see if we can get that. I think we're gonna try to step up to take my contact and see whether we can move up a step in their organization and see about getting at least the MOU approved so we can move forward.
You know, that's been the same for 4 years.
Yes, ma'am, and the leadership changed occasionally, so the most recent change in leadership, they actually have been much more responsive to us with comments, but the comments were completely different from the last comments. So we're now at the point with the current leadership that we're gonna, ask our commissioners to help us with going higher up to go ahead and get it finalized.
What's the dispute over? Is it over land? Is it over?
When we started off with this, the agreement was that county, or the understanding was the county would be doing some improvements, bringing water to the big ditch on Pkwy, and then doing some improvements in Pkwy to accommodate extra flow if it was going that way. If it was coming to the county, this system is designed to go either way depending on which side of the road is flooding. But with the big pipe in the ditches that the county has, we would be able to accommodate their flows. But it got into a question of how, and it went to a memorandum of understanding needed to be executed as far as defining who was going to do what. And that's now gotten into the county's going to take over maintenance of certain ditches and infrastructure on the Pkwy property in order to make this happen, because they didn't feel like they wanted to commit to maintaining to a level that the county needed. So that was the last round of comments, was for
The county to clean their ditches.
You're
And so
going
Dave,
on their land and maintain it?
Yes, sir.
As it stands right now.
That's the MOU that we've got, yes, sir.
But, so you're gonna have to enter through the gate to maintain it? You're
Right.
gonna,
We've done it before. We've done it before. It's not,
We did the same thing.
pardon me?
John Water and Sewer does the water and sewer out of Pkwy, we have to go on their site. and-
You do?
yeah.
Okay,
What we'd be maintaining is big grass ditches.
okay,
It's our water throwing, a lot of it's our water, so it benefits the county.
okay,
You'll
got
find
it.
you'll find on federal installations, they're all done privately now.
So,
No,
so
the federal government is,
the collection of the water, all of it is not limited to what's on site to Pkwy. It comes from the county and through. Okay.
absolutely. So we have skin in the, I mean, we have
Got it.
a need to do it.
And you're doing it already?
Will any part of this improve the flow over on the side by Sally's Cop Shop?
Yes, sir, that's gonna pick up, what we're gonna do
From
is,
a big ditch to a little ditch to a big ditch.
we're gonna bring in a pipe from the big ditch and intercept that little ditch and put all that underground and connect to those, believe it goes up pretty close to those, trench drains under Sally's Cop Shop Drive. And so by putting all that in a pipe, we should be getting better flow into there. We're not actually going on their, making improvements on their property, but getting that outfall better should do better for them.
Okay.
This one we've got at, under, phase one, engineering is under design. They're expecting to have the, designs ready to go out to bid, late this month. Probably, it's probably going to get into December before we get that finalized and ready to put that out for construction.
This one, we actually have been struggling to get the very last piece of right-of-way. The private property owner kept moving the goalpost for us to get an agreement. So, we actually are, meeting with them soon to let them know we've given them the last offer, we are going to move forward with condemnation.
Where's Hornet Drive? Is that in,
It's in-
where is Summersby? Where's Summersby
it's-
in this whole thing?
This
had-
this is 17, close to the Spur.
You know where, it's up there by where the skating.
The skating rink.
Oh, I got it, okay, thank you.
So these plans are designed, approved by DOT, and ready to bid. We just have been negotiating with this last owner for a while, and so we just, I say a while, for years, so we're moving forward to get that last piece.
Is this the new construction that you cut a deal with? I have Hornet Drive drainage at the last meeting.
Oh, no,
The
ma'am,
new
that was down at Dungeness, where the private developer installed some of the improvements, so it didn't cost as much.
Right. Summersby Point and Dungeness.
Yes, ma'am.
That's this one. Yep. Okay.
So Hornet and South Palm, these two projects were combined together because they're so close
Right.
together. So this
Right.
is the same status, that we're getting that last piece.
Right.
This is the animal, we call it the Animal Services Facility now, and they moved in on the 8th and 9th of October. We've got a few change orders that we're still working on, but they are in the new facility.
Is there any way to control the noise? I've been hearing that the barking is quite distressing. Is there any way to cushion the noise?
To other dogs or the
Yeah,
employees?
just everything, I think, yeah. It's concrete, I guess. I guess
Yeah, I haven't heard that. Who's telling you that?
it's all over Facebook.
Oh, okay, I don't do Facebook.
No, what do you,
Means it's true.
well,
Before the
no,
there's
December
one-
meeting.
no, I'm not,
No, there's one thing
for
that,
the dogs that just come in there and
okay, so there's a
it's-
couple of things. One thing is the pins outside, okay? Then there's four pins. There's no there's no obscuration in the fence. Okay, so we're gonna put some slats in the fence so the dogs don't see each other. Typically,
That could
if
be
dogs
causing-
typically if dogs don't see each other, they don't bark as much.
Right,
In the kennels themselves, there's a concrete wall that goes down a block wall that goes down the middle, so the dogs don't see each other, and that way they're supposed
That
to,
probably
it's
helps.
supposed to be
Yeah.
quieter.
Yeah.
Okay, I can tell you, having gone through the old facility numerous times, there was always lots of barking, so.
Yeah.
Ms. Fraser, before the December meeting, I'll talk with Tiffany and bring you back a report on this. I'm not sure who's making comments on Facebook, but that facility's not open to the public, so.
it's a tough problem. I mean, look at the restaurants locally, they're all trying to solve a noise problem. It's not an easy problem to solve. I'm just thinking,
Well,
you know, any kind of,
Damper to the sound.
yeah. I'm sure there are people that would like to volunteer and to offer that,
Offer what?
offer free matting or whatever.
They
You know,
can't have any matting in there.
No, matting on the ceiling,
If-
like like we have in here.
Yeah, they tried
You know.
that in the old facility. We've been down
Have you
there.
got this kind of a ceiling
No,
there?
ma'am. No, ma'am, because they washed the place down,
Yeah,
For
okay?
hygiene and to control the air circulation in there to keep the animals healthy,
Right.
based on the state vet, there
What I
are
would expect
restrictions
from
on what
barking.
type of materials.
What type of
you can
materials in the
use
ceiling.
there.
okay.
If we wanted to just go through a tour of the new facility, who should we call?
You can let us
Do it.
know after the trial.
After what?
After the trial, that they're part of our public safety complex.
Yeah.
And so for the safety of the community, that has restricted access for the duration of the trial.
Okay.
Ms. Fraser, why are you laughing at me?
Well, I'm just surprised because, you know, we've got movie people shooting a film down in the park and nobody seems the least bit concerned. So I'm wondering why the police station should be the safest place in town, shouldn't it?
That's not for me to speak to.
No.
I didn't address the security in the community. Tamara may want to address that, or Chief Baptiste, and,
Good.
I tell you, I would much rather y'all go in January and be safe than go now during the trial and something happen. So I appreciate them having an abundance of caution with safety.
Well, I think so too. I'm just thinking
Well, I
that that
thought we
should be the
agreed.
safest place in the county to be.
Maybe we can talk about it December 8th. We'll,
December 8th,
Yeah.
December 3rd, December 8th.
Okay.
Thank you.
Y'all asked us, or the Board of Commissioners asked us to put together some information about the projects completed. So this is a summary that Tamara put together for the last work session update to the Board of Commissioners. And so that's just showing you the difference in the Splost money that we have spent in the past calendar year and the projects we've completed in the last calendar year. These are estimated completion dates for the remaining.
No.
Okay. And
Can
to
we,
note, on the
can-
College Park project, that's all 4 phases.
Is this available, this slide? I hadn't seen this one.
Yes, ma'am. We can email it to the committee, and it was part of the agenda materials if you looked at them for the October work session, but we can
Please.
email them.
Thank you.
and you'll have
It's
one.
also attached to the agenda for tonight's meeting on the website.
Oh, thank you, Tamara.
I thought that was you being a ventriloquist. Can we get that for December, which will be the, Splost project's estimated completion, December 8th, update it, so that'll be the last we see as a
I
committee.
want to make sure I understand what you're asking for. So you want us to double check these in the next 4 weeks to see if we think those dates are going to change?
Yeah, just so that when we sunset, we have the latest and greatest.
Could we get some kind of breakdown of the money that's been collected, the money that's been spent, and what's left to spend, and will it cover the projects that are left?
Tamara, is that something you have or can provide the committee? Did you hear the question?
So that's all provided on the spreadsheet that's on the Splost website. It gives the total amount of money that's been collected, the total amount that is spent to date, how much is allocated to finish the remaining projects, and then the remaining unallocated funds is at the bottom of the spreadsheet.
When we email this presentation, we'll include the link to that.
Well, we have it right here on this spreadsheet. You're right.
I like that.
But tomorrow, I guess my question then again on this total Glynn County projects where it goes from 40 million to 462 to 48 million 360, then is that additional 8 million again the federal funding?
So the additional 8 million, 5.7 of that is made up of the additional Splost funds that were collected in those 3 months
Okay.
at the end. And then 2.9 million of that is non-Splost funding sources. So those are for grants and other allocations that have been contributed to Splost projects.
That's very helpful. Thank you.
So that's the end of the county slide, and Andrew's here to update.
See, that's.
That is the force main project that is coming down Harry Driggers and Canal Road. It's also got 2 major pump station rehabs. We've already done 2 phases of that project. The pump station rehabs are on schedule to be completed by the end of January. Talked to the contractor earlier this week. One of them should be brought online in December, and the other one will be in January. They're doing demo in the wet wells and installing new odor control. Right now, the biggest holdup is waiting on the pumps to show up, which is pretty critical for a pump station. So assuming they show up on time, we should be good to go. On the force main project, they've got about 9,000 feet of pipe in the ground out of the roughly 18,500 that's going in. So all of the open cut sections have been installed, and now we're just waiting on the horizontal directional drilling rig to be, to show up, and then they'll get the rest of that done. And then there's a section of gravity down Ogden that'll have to be installed, but that's going to be the end of the project. So they should be, we put out notice, they should begin working on the Canal Road section over the next 3 weeks to install that portion down Canal Road. The other project we got is the Pump Station 4003 upgrades in the city of Brunswick on K Street. That project is substantially complete. There's a few punch list items, mostly electrical remaining, but the improvements are in service and functioning as appropriate. So that should be theoretically wrapped up before Thanksgiving, but punch lists can drag on sometimes. But if you've been by there recently, it looked this really nice looking facility now we have there. So
Okay.
That's it?
that's it. The force main project, by the way, will be finished up in June of '22.
And let me ask you a question. There were two areas. One was at Demery and East Beach Causeway and Frederica and Sea Island Road that were emitting an odor.
Right.
And when you, tell me about the Demery East Beach first, and then I want to ask you a question about Frederica and Sea
Okay,
Island.
Demery and East Beach, what we've done there, and to my knowledge, at that intersection, we haven't had complaints recently. What we've done is bring those lines into the bottom of a manhole. So basically, it comes into the bottom and upwells in there instead of falling down and the air stripping out. So we brought those into the bottom of that manhole, and it's got a gasketed manhole cover on it, to anything that would theoretically come out would be stopped by the gasket. At Sea Island and Frederica, everything comes into the top of the manhole and falls about 12 feet. So if it falls 12 feet, it's interacting with the air column the whole way down, and the gases are stripping out. Now, we put gasketed manhole covers on that. We've also got carbon canisters, and we're doing better, but there's still an issue there. The solution would be to bring them into the bottom of the manhole, but of course, it's in the turning lane right there. So that's going to be quite the job to get that manhole taken care of until there's major intersection improvements right there.
And to that point, and obviously, we all hear there's talk about Frederica and Sea Island Road and a roundabout. My question to Joint Water and Sewer, are there improvements that are anticipated, if in fact that happens, that will enhance the water and sewer system? And I guess this is the $64,000 question. How much of that will benefit Sea Island as compared to the community overall?
Okay, well, the odor control problem, I'm never going to say it's going to be eliminated, because that would be a little too far. It would be severely restricted. Let's say 95% chance that that would be taken away if we take care of that. There would be no benefit other than the odor issues there. There's the pipes aren't failing. There's not a capacity concern. So it's all related to odors. We can take care of that if we bring in these upwelling manholes like we did at East Beach and Demery, but there will be benefit, of course, from the odors coming from Sea Island and coming from the south end of St. Simons at that portion, but there won't be a benefit from a capacity improvement or anything like that.
So if in fact that intersection becomes part of Splost, you don't anticipate there being any utility improvements? When I say improvements, there may be, you know, some,
We would do some relocations and, of course, moving them out of the roadways. We would,
Right.
we would do the odor control improvements in that regard, but we're not doing,
enhancing anything.
not from a sizing or anything like that.
Okay.
But because there's no stormwater system at that intersection, when we put in a roundabout there, we're gonna have to enhance the stormwater collection there. And
Right.
there could be conflict
Right.
with the existing sewer system. All right, and so there will be some relocation.
Right.
that had to be made, that may need to be made, like we did at East Beach
Like we did at East Beach, like we did at the Kingsway roundabout, we would have pipe that went in the ground.
Right. But my question, David, is there's not gonna be any enhancement of size or technology that's gonna benefit.
I don't think scheduled, but sometimes when they get in the ground, they find out that there's an 8-inch there,
Right.
and they thought it was a 10-inch.
Based off what we think's in the ground right now.
I understand.
So I think what we did at East Beach Causeway, we caught a couple of surprises, and they.
I got you.
Fixed up and upgraded. So
Okay.
They did enhance their capacity, but it wasn't really planned.
There's no plans to, when I say plans, predetermined plans that will enhance anything at that intersection to do more than what it's doing now. You may have to replace some pipes because, you know, they're not what you anticipated, but no enhancements.
No enhancements other than improving the flow
Got
to
it.
help with odor.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Do we have a report from the city?
Tamara, did you hear from the city?
Hey, yes, this is Garrow Alberson. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yep.
We can hear you, Garrow.
Yeah, I can go through our presentation if you want.
Please do.
All right. I'll go through the projects that we're still showing as not completed yet. The milling and paving of streets is a roadway construction. The Magnolia Park project is our remaining project under that. We are finishing up phase 1 of that project, should pave that next week. We've awarded the contract and we'll be moving directly into phase 2 with a anticipated completion date of July of 22 on that. We have received a low interest loan from the Georgia Transportation Infrastructure Bank to assist with the funding of that, and we also moved over, I believe, $800,000 from our excess collections to help with that also. But this project will finalize the Splost category for our roadway improvements. The next category is storm drainage improvements. Kind of got 2 projects there. One is the Magnolia Park project. There's a storm drainage component to that. As I mentioned, we'll be working on phase 2 in the coming months. And then we also have set aside some money for the College Park project. I think Pam and Paul talked a little bit about that earlier in our involvement with the DCA, and hopeful that we'll receive funding from them to assist with that project as well. Mary Ross Park, we have recently awarded a design contract for calling phase 2 improvements. They're phase 2 of the master plan that was completed a few years back. And that's access improvements along Gloucester Street, the entranceway, some improvements to the plaza within the park, and the surface of the dock there. We're anticipating a design completion in the spring of 22, and then moving right into construction of that. And that project, we also will deplete the Mary Ross Park funding. The Highway 17 infrastructure, we have just awarded a design contract for the design of the boardwalk trail between Overlook Park and the St. Simon's Causeway. That we've received a TAP grant from GDOT for a majority of that funding. We will be using our Splost money for the local match for that grant, and that required match will also use all of the money in our Splost category. That project's getting kicked off. It's going to be about a 3-year design process. It's going to be a long process, but we're getting it kicked off and have it underway here immediately. The Wayfinding and Gateways project, the design is about 95% complete. It's been sent to GDOT for permitting. So as soon as permits are issued and we address any comments that GDOT has, we will move into installation of those, and we would like to have that completed in the spring and be done with this category. Trails, we have one segment remaining of the MLK Trail, and that's a segment along 4th Avenue between MLK and Highway 17. We're waiting on EPD to issue a buffer variance for that section. As soon as that section, or as that buffer variance is issued, we will put that project out to bid. We'd like to have it awarded and under construction early 22. Cemetery restoration, renovation, we are finalizing our plans on that for improvements at the various cemeteries in town. The subscriber radios is an ongoing payment. Historic squares, the Queen Square Northeast project was recently completed in downtown. That's the section at the northeast corner of Mansfield and Newcastle Street. That project was recently completed, and that we will wind up that funding of that category. The park rehab for Palmetto Orange Squares, we are waiting the final or formal go-ahead on our land and water conservation grant for that. Once that grant's awarded, we will use the Splost money as the local match for that. We anticipate award this fall and then being able to get that project under construction early 22. That involves the splash pad, the playground, pavilions, parking improvements, and other enhancements at Orange Square. The Sidney Lanier Park improvements, we're working with GDOT. All of that project, all of that park area is in the GDOT right away. So we're working with GDOT on some permissions and some leasable areas and permissions for park improvements there. So we have some parking area improvements in mind, potential amphitheater there, some other lighting improvements, and other enhancements to the park. So we're working with GDOT on permitting and permissions for that park. The Howard Coffin Park improvements are completed. We just recently completed those with the playground and the pavilions and all of that work. So that it's nice to be finished with that one. And that's the rest of those are showing as completed. I can go through them with you if you have any questions, but we've already talked about them a couple of times in previous meetings. So I'll be glad to answer any questions on anything else.
Could you have us a list at the next meeting of what's been completed, what's left to be completed, and the money that it's going to take to complete it, and what do you have on hand?
Yes, to make sure I understood you, what's completed, what's left to be completed, and the estimated cost remaining?
Right.
Yes, sir, we can have that.
Okay, that would be great. Think it would be possible that we had a live person at the next meeting?
We can try.
No questions?
No question?
Quick question,
Yes.
easy question. I've got Alexa at home. I really like this tomorrow service. Can we arrange to get that at home too, or is that only gonna be here?
She's off the line now.
Um,
I don't think Ronnie's gonna wanna negotiate for her.
No, no. Thank you, staff, for coming and staying late. We appreciate you.
Yeah, we do.
Jekyll?
Thank
Oh,
you
we
for
got
being
Jekyll.
here.
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
Is Jekyll? I don't know.
Okay,
Let's see.
nobody from Jekyll.
I think they're done.
They're finished.
I think they're done.
Yeah, we
finished
finished
them
them off.
So if I could just tell y'all to make sure I have my action list correct. So your last meeting is Wednesday, December 8th, 5:30 PM in this room. We'll make sure before that meeting that we get you an agenda, the minutes, and bring the printouts of the worksheet for you, and which we'll email those a week ahead of time. I'm going to follow up by giving you a copy of this Splost presentation and a link to the financial spreadsheet. And then Garrett's gonna give you a summary sheet similar to the one we have, and then he or one of his teams, and Andrew will give us a similar sheet also.
Right,
Good,
So that's my action plan.
all right.
very good.
And we're gonna have 3 sets of minutes now,
Yes,
these 2 and tonight.
and this evening.
Perfect.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Hey,
Oh,
I can't tell if anyone else is talking, but,
Go ahead, Tamara.
who's this?
okay.
Go ahead.
I called back in. I heard somebody mention my name, but I couldn't hear what the question was. Can you repeat that?
It was Jeff making a joke that you're awesome.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I thought you guys needed me. Thank
Well,
you.
it's good you came back to hear that. Tamara.
Yeah, that never hurts, does it?
We're adjourned.
You're troublemaker.
Okay, we're adjourned tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, staff.
Thank you.